Welcome to the Academic Resource Center workshop on avoiding plagiarism. This workshop will cover the following material: basic citation rules, a review of how to quote, paraphrase, and summarize, practice exercises in APA and MLA format, 2 role-play scenarios, and a video overview from Grammar Bites. So let's get started. When you cite sources, you give credit to authors from whom you've borrowed information. The key word here is borrowed, and the information includes, but is not limited to, words, ideas, statistics and other facts, photographs, graphs, diagrams, and cartoons. So when exactly do you need to cite? You must cite when you have copied words from another source, borrowed someone else's ideas, made reference to specific information that is not common knowledge, or used charts, graphs, pictures, or maps, any image that you did not create from scratch. You don't need to cite your own original ideas, personal facts, or opinions. You also don't need to cite information that is common knowledge, for example, the fact that there are 7 days in a week, or common sayings and phrases. All Mercer University students should read the Academic Integrity Policy that can be found under Handbooks on the Provost webpage. This document defines plagiarism as the use of ideas, facts, phrases, or additional materials such as maps and charts from any source without giving proper credit for such material. Any material in a paper or report which is not acknowledged is understood to be the original work of the author, regardless of misinformation, carelessness, sloppiness, or typographical errors. In other words, claiming that you didn't know the rules will not clear you from the charge of plagiarism. Additionally, self-plagiarism is a violation of the Mercer University Honor Code. This means that you cannot recycle a paper that you have written for one course by turning it in to a different professor. If you believe that what you have written is so effective that it should be used again, you must cite yourself, and be sure to consult your professor before doing so. Now let's look at exactly how to cite a source. There are 3 ways to cite words or ideas in your essay. You can quote, paraphrase, or summarize. In the upcoming examples, we'll be looking at these 3 types of citations in APA format. So be sure to check a style manual like Easy Writer or the Little Bear Handbook if your professor requires MLA, Chicago, or another citation system. Let's review how to handle a direct quotation first. A quotation is an exact word-for-word extract of an author's original writing. You must place this information within quotation marks. In APA format, you must place the author's last name, year of publication, and page numbers in parentheses at the end of the quote. If you want to introduce the author and year of publication before the quote, include these in a signal phrase and then place the page numbers in parentheses at the end of the quote. Here's an excerpt from an article entitled Lessons in Lifelong Learning, Earning a Bachelor's Degree in Retirement. The quote reads, "3 consistent themes related to these adults' educational experiences emerge from the data. A, unfinished business, B, cutting the mustard, and C, a sense of legacy." In the sample quotation shown here, we used a signal phrase to introduce the author and the year of publication. We then retyped author Helterbrand's text without changing a single word or a piece of punctuation. We put quotation marks before and after the language borrowed from Helterbrand, and we concluded the quote by putting the page number in parentheses, followed by a period. Whenever you do research, be sure to write down or print out all source information, including the author's name, year of publication, title of article, title of journal, journal number, inclusive page numbers of article, retrieval information, DOI or URL, etc. That way you will have everything you need to produce an accurate bibliography page, and you won't lose time trying to locate your sources after your paper is written. Here's a helpful tip. Purchase the most up-to-date version of a style manual like Easy Writer or the Little Bear Handbook. These manuals contain detailed information about APA, MLA, and Chicago styles in addition to helpful examples of grammar rules, punctuation usage, and sentence structure. Also, we always recommend that students use the many resources available on Purdue University's online writing lab, known as the Purdue OWL. Now we'll discuss paraphrasing. A paraphrase is your rephrasing, almost like a translation, of the author's original writing. It's a bit trickier than quoting because the words must be your own, and you must accurately sum up the author's intended meaning. You can think of a paraphrase as the way you would explain the author's idea to a friend. We're going to use the same excerpt from Helterbrand for our example of a paraphrase. The paraphrase reads, Helterbrand, 2017, found that realizing the dream of attaining a college degree, the anxiety about being able to succeed in school, and the imperative to positively influence a younger generation were three common experiences for men who return to college later in life. Notice that the words are different from the author's, but the meaning is true to Helterbrand's original intent. There are no quotation marks, but the author and year of publication are identified in a signal phrase. Here's a tip to help you paraphrase in your own words. Do not look at the original text while you are rewriting the author's ideas. Work from memory and check the text afterwards for accuracy. Keep in mind that you don't have to memorize all of these rules. Instead, you can use the most up-to-date version of a style manual like Easy Writer or the Little Bear Handbook. Also, as we recommended before, Purdue University's OWL offers helpful information about paraphrasing and quoting. What you do have to remember is that whenever you borrow an author's idea, you must identify the source. Otherwise, you are committing plagiarism. Finally, let's think about summarizing. It's not very different from paraphrasing since you're still putting an author's idea into your own words. The significant difference between the two is that a summary is a digest of many sentences, paragraphs, or even pages of an author's original writing. Just like with the paraphrase, you should not place quotation marks around the summary, but you must identify the author and year of publication if using APA format. Here is a summary of Helterbrand's entire article. Overall, although her study participants were few, Helterbrand 2017 made a strong case for older learners returning to college. They gained great intellectual satisfaction by earning a college degree, they proved to themselves that they were capable of learning new ideas, and they were able to both positively influence and be influenced by their younger classmates. A summary is a great way to introduce an article, book, play, website, etc. that you will be discussing in more detail throughout your essay. Keep in mind that when you paraphrase or summarize, in addition to identifying the source, you must restate the author's meaning in your own words. If you partially copy the author's words, by mixing the author's sentences with your own without using quotation marks, by substituting a synonym every so often, or by rearranging the author's phrases in a different order, you are still committing plagiarism. Let's review the 3 ways to cite words or ideas in your paper. First, quote when the author's ideas are clear, elegant, and/or concise, exactly as originally written. If you can't say it better yourself, then quote. Next, paraphrase when you can make the author's idea more clear and/or concise by restating it in your own words. If you like the author's idea, but the wording is confusing, paraphrase it. Finally, summarize when the author's material is too lengthy, more than a paragraph, to include in your paper as a quote or a paraphrase. Writing a one-sentence summary is also an excellent way to introduce an article, book, play, or website to your reader. Whichever method you use, you must cite your source in the format required by your professor, APA, MLA, Chicago, etc. And you must place all source information on a bibliography page. Here's an opportunity for you to practice quoting and paraphrasing in APA format. This slide contains 2 exercises. Read the text on your own and practice writing a correctly cited quotation that begins with a signal phrase. Next, write a correctly cited paraphrase. Suggested answers will be presented on the next slide. Press pause now if you would like to practice, and then resume playing when you are ready to see the answers. Your answers may vary, but note that in APA format, with the quotation, the author, year of publication, and page number are included. With the paraphrase, only the author and year of publication are provided. This slide contains 2 exercises in MLA format. Read the text on your own and practice writing a correctly cited quotation. Next, write a correctly cited paraphrase that begins with a signal phrase. Suggested answers will be presented on the next slide. Press pause now if you would like to practice, and then resume playing when you are ready to see the answers. Your answers may vary, but note that in MLA format, the author and page number are provided with both quotations and with paraphrases. Here is a scenario to think about and discuss. It is the day before a big assignment is due. At this point, a student does not have time to go back to the library and online to find all the sources he or she used when working on the assignment. In the end, he or she turns in the assignment but fails to cite some of the sources. Discussion. What are the possible consequences of this decision? How could the situation have been avoided? What advice can you share about time management skills? What other advice would you give to the student? Answer these questions on your own or discuss your responses with a classmate, instructor, or an ARC in-person tutor. Here is another scenario to consider. A student who works very hard to get good grades is working on a writing assignment. Most of the assignment is in the student's own words, but he or she finds a very few interesting sentences on a website. The information fits right in with the student's writing and seems to improve the quality of the writing. It is unlikely that the teacher will ever visit the website source. The student adds the sentences and turns in the assignment. Discussion. What should the consequences of this decision be? How do you handle the pressure that is often associated with grades? What could the student have done to avoid the situation? Do you think consequences should differ based on the amount of information that is plagiarized? Answer these questions on your own or discuss your responses with a classmate, instructor, or an ARC in-person tutor. We hope you feel more knowledgeable and confident about avoiding plagiarism in your writing. A great follow-up to this presentation is to watch Grammar Bites video, the link to which is listed at the bottom of the screen. For more assistance with essay writing, visit the in-person ARC writing tutors on your Mercer University campus. You will find our tutoring schedules on our website along with other helpful study skills information. Should you have any questions, feel free to contact us at arc@mercer.edu. Thank you.